Have you ever wondered why the Israel-Palestine conflict persists, despite decades of American involvement? It's a question that's captured the minds of many, sparking debates and discussions across the globe. This isn't just a tale of two nations, but a complex narrative where outside influence, particularly that of America, plays a significant part. So, what exactly is the role of the United States in this ongoing conflict? Join us as we delve into a brief history of this intricate conflict and try to understand the role America has played in it. The Israel-Palestine conflict did not begin overnight. It has roots that go back a century. The cradle of this conflict rests in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when the Zionist movement began to gain traction. Zionism, the national movement for the return of the Jewish people to their homeland, was a response to centuries of persecution. It sought a safe haven for the Jewish diaspora, and its eyes were set on Palestine, a region that held significant historical and religious importance for the Jewish people. At the same time, Palestine was home to a majority Arab population who had been living there for generations. The influx of Jewish immigrants, encouraged by the Balfour Declaration of 1917, led to increasing tensions between the Jewish immigrants and the Arab Palestinians. The Balfour Declaration, issued by the British government, expressed support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. But the declaration also stated that this should not prejudice the rights of the existing non-Jewish communities. This dual promise, however, proved difficult to fulfill, as both communities claimed the same land as their own. After the horrors of World War II and the Holocaust, the urgency for a Jewish state increased. The United Nations stepped in and proposed a partition plan in 1947, which called for the division of Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international administration. The Jewish Agency for Palestine accepted the plan, but it was rejected by the Arab leaders and the Palestinian Arab population. This led to a civil war, and in 1948, amidst the turmoil, Israel declared independence. The neighboring Arab states, however, did not accept the new state and launched an attack, marking the beginning of the First Arab-Israeli War. With the establishment of Israel, the stage was set for decades of conflict, and soon, America would enter the scene. The United States became a key player in the Israel-Palestine conflict during the Cold War era. This was a time when the world was divided into two opposing blocs, and the Middle East held the keys to global dominance. Strategic alliances were being formed, and the United States saw an opportunity in this tumultuous region. The first significant step was the Truman Doctrine in 1947. This was a policy by President Harry S. Truman, pledging to provide economic and military aid to countries threatened by communism. This doctrine marked the beginning of America's active involvement in Middle Eastern affairs. It was a chess move in the geopolitical game, and the pieces were just beginning to move. As the 50s rolled around, America's interest in the Middle East deepened. The Suez Canal crisis of 1956 was a crucial turning point. The United States, under President Dwight D. Eisenhower, refused to support the invasion of Egypt by Britain, France, and Israel. This was a clear message to the world. America was now calling the shots in the Middle East. The 60s and 70s saw a continuation of American involvement. The Six-Day War in 1967 and the Yom Kippur War in 1973 were significant events where the United States played decisive roles. America's support for Israel was unwavering, cementing their bond and shaping the dynamics of the conflict. The 80s saw a shift in American policy with the Reagan Plan of 1982. This plan proposed a framework for peace, emphasizing self-government for the Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. It was a move towards diplomacy and negotiation, a new direction for America's role in the conflict. But as the Cold War drew to a close, the landscape began to change. The fall of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked the end of the bipolar world order. The United States emerged as the sole superpower, and its approach to the Israel-Palestine conflict took on a new dimension. As the Cold War ended, America's role in the conflict continued to evolve. The end of the Cold War did not signify the end of American involvement in the Israel-Palestine conflict. If anything, it marked a new chapter. as the United States continued to play an active role in the pursuit of a resolution. In the early 90s, the Oslo Accords were a beacon of hope. The United States, under the leadership of President Bill Clinton, facilitated these historic negotiations between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization. For the first time in history, both parties officially recognized each other. This mutual acknowledgement seemed to pave the way for peace, but the road ahead proved more challenging than anticipated. Fast forward to the year 2000, the Camp David Summit was another significant milestone. The United States, still under Clinton's administration, attempted to facilitate a final status settlement. However, the summit ended without an agreement, leading to an escalation of the conflict in the form of the Second Intifada. The post-Cold War era also saw America's stance on the conflict become more partisan. Traditionally, the U.S. had maintained a somewhat balanced approach, but the scales tipped more towards Israel during the administrations of George W. Bush and Donald Trump. This shift was most evident in Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital, a move that sparked international controversy. However, the pendulum swung back slightly under President Joe Biden, who has strived to restore a more balanced approach. His administration has re-engaged with Palestinian leaders and reinstated humanitarian aid, signaling a return to diplomacy. Yet despite these efforts, the peace process remains a complex puzzle. The post-Cold War era has seen a series of ups and downs, with moments of hope followed by periods of despair. The United States, with its significant influence, has often been at the center of these developments. Despite numerous attempts at peace, the conflict persists and America's role remains significant. As we move forward, the question remains, can the United States help broker a lasting peace in the Israel-Palestine conflict? Or will this centuries-old dispute continue to resist resolution? Today, the Israel-Palestine conflict continues to be a contentious issue, with America at the center. The echoes of historical discord are still heard today, resonating through the streets of Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Gaza Strip, shaping the lives of millions of people on both sides of the conflict. In the current landscape, America's role is more crucial than ever. The United States, being a global superpower, finds itself in a unique position to mediate and influence the course of this conflict. It has continued to extend financial, military, and diplomatic support to Israel, maintaining the nation's qualitative military edge in the region. Yet, the dynamics are shifting. The past few years have seen increased calls for a more balanced approach towards the Israeli-Palestinian conflict within America. This has led to a gradual shift in the narrative, with a growing recognition of the Palestinian plight and an increased emphasis on the need for a two-state solution. The American audience, too, is now more aware and divided on this issue, highlighting the complexity of the situation. But it's not just about the internal dynamics. The role America plays is also shaped by the larger geopolitical chessboard. The recent Abraham Accords, where America brokered normalization agreements between Israel and several Arab states, is a testament to this. These agreements, while criticized by some for sidelining the Palestinian cause, have undeniably reshaped the regional dynamics, adding new layers to the conflict. As we delve deeper into the 24th century, the Israel-Palestine conflict and America's role in it continues to evolve. The recent developments, while significant, have not brought us any closer to a definitive resolution. The conflict remains a delicate balancing act, with America caught in the middle, trying to navigate the turbulent waters of diplomacy and international relations. As we look to the future, the question remains, can America help bring about a resolution to this enduring conflict? The Israel-Palestine conflict is a complex issue, and America's role in it is equally intricate. Let's circle back to the crux of our discussion. The roots of this conflict are deeply embedded in history, going back to the early 20th century. The struggle for land and identity has fueled a century-long clash between Israelis and Palestinians. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, America steps into the picture, playing a pivotal role as a mediator and a key ally to Israel. In the post-Cold War era, America's involvement intensified. The country was seen as a global peacemaker, striving to bring about a resolution through diplomatic negotiations. But the road to peace is fraught with challenges. and the conflict remains unresolved to this day. Today, we see a complex web of political, religious, and cultural tensions. America continues to wield significant influence, although the dynamics are ever-changing. The current state of affairs is a testament to the enduring nature of this conflict and the intricate role America plays in it. As we ponder the question we began with, we realize that understanding the history of this conflict and America's role in it is crucial to answering it. Perhaps, in understanding, we can find the path to resolution.